paint just off this small area here. We don't want to mess up too much of the paint, patina, let me say that, on the rest of the truck. Woohoo! Well, let's take it off of you. So let me let you in on a secret of YouTube. When you hit that subscribe button, it is absolutely free to use, but it immensely blesses me. I want to welcome you to another episode of RevStoration. Today we're going to be working on Ole Puddin again. I think I'm going to title today's video a lot of before and after. So remember in the last video, if you have been watching kind of the progression of the revival of Ole Puddin, you're going to know that I repaired actually one vent hole, one horsepower gain, one rust hole in the body. I repaired it with fiberglass. I actually did a 3-part repair: fiberglass with resin, fiberglass filler, and then I went back with body filler, and then I aged the paint to make it where it didn't stand out so much. So really a 2-part paint with brown on the bottom and flat black on the top, and sanded it down. If you saw that video, it was like 30 minutes long. It was a long video. I appreciate those of you that have watched that. Those of you that have subbed to the channel, y'all are a blessing. Y'all are such an honor. If you're not subbed, hey, go hit that sub button. That's a great way that you can help our channel. But today I think I have either 8 or 9 holes that I want to work on probably in today's video, maybe or maybe not. We'll kind of address the bed. I've got a few ideas of what I would like to do to address the bed, and then we'll go from there. So I guess the easiest way is, let's get to it. I think I've already shown you these holes here. These holes, of course, are the ones I'm going to work on. If you see here, there was a large hole here last time. Actually, all of the rain we've got, that's one of the reasons I hadn't been able to work on the truck recently, is the rain. But what I'm going to do is get to working on these holes. I'll start, I think I'm going to do the same thing on every hole, and then just go on and get them all started at the same rate. And the reason that I'll do that is now, since I'm doing them all at the same time, when the stuff is drying, I'm not having to wait forever, because I'll be working on the next hole. So that's the plan. Let's get. This one's probably gonna need some stuff cut off. We'll probably have to do a cut straight through here, because all this is bulging out. Probably have to sand on some of that in there. So let's go on and get to that. Now we'll get our rust stop and spray it, and I'm going to come back and sand these edges so we can have a good spot there. So all that's going to be sanded down, no worries. All right, on this one I'm going to make a bigger hole just so I can get in there and work. And of course, this is what causes all the rust. You see all that? That's just dirt and moisture, and it just gets packed in there. And when it holds moisture, it's going to find a way, its weakest metal it's gonna create rust. So the kicker with all this is this gotta all come out before I can close that back up. So it's gonna keep working. We can get all of that out. Isn't that gross? Alright, same way here. Of course, this hole wasn't bad, but it was coming. So you might as well go on and make a hole, clean it out, and of course we're really gonna work on the doors later and get the doors sealed. But this will help with the doors. Now this backside got a lot of hole. It's gonna be harder to get to, but I need to bend some of that back out, some of this back out. Open the door here. All right, so we need to bend some of this back out to get this line back right. I mean, I guess I could form it if I wanted to, but it's better to have metal there. And then we'll probably have to just make this. Let me go get my hammer. All right, we got the fiberglass set, waiting on it to dry. Takes forever. Y'all heard any good jokes lately? I bought, you know, being a pastor, I always like to go out and minister to people in the community, and I bought some shoes the other day from a drug dealer, and I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. I'm sorry. This preacher went by one time and he bought a lawnmower from this little boy. Walked up and said, "Hey preacher, I'll sell you this lawnmower for $20. And the preacher said, "Well kid, that's a good deal." He said, "Well, if you'll take it, I'll take it." And the preacher pulled out $20, gave it to the kid. And preacher went to pulling on the lawnmower, and he pulled on it, pulled on it, it wouldn't crank. Finally hollered out to the little boy. I said, "Little boy, get over here." And the little boy came over here, and the preacher said, "Well son, I paid you $20 for this, and you told me it ran." He said, "But I kept cranking on it, pulling on it, and it won't crank." And the little boy said, "Well, preacher, you got to kick it once or twice, and you got to cuss it." And the preacher said, "Son, I'm a Christian and a pastor at that. I ain't cussed in 20 years. He said, "Well, you keep pulling on that lawnmower, it'll come back to you." All right, y'all, we're gonna let this dry. When it dries, we'll come back in just a second. All right, y'all, now I'm gonna sand this. And to get this sanded down, we'll be able to go from there all the way through. We'll get all these sanded up and ready to go. All right, the 18,478,000 holes that was in this truck was just about too much for me to handle today. I breathed in enough. I did have a mask on. I did have my shades on, but I'm tired. Nikki T says she's making chocolate covered Oreos for supper. No, I think she said tacos, but I'm ready for supper. So I have a lot of work done already. I've got all the fiberglass work done. I've got filler at least on almost all the holes. Tomorrow's just gonna be sanding it down, smoothing it down, and then doing the patina paint. I put Patina. I don't know why in the world I did that in the last video, but I got it corrected now. The patina paint job that I'm gonna put all around the base. So I'm gonna get that done tomorrow, and I'm tired. So I'll see y'all. For y'all, it'll be a minute. For me, it'll be about 10 hours. The next day, I'm gonna finish the project. Gotta come in, we got body filler on. Probably have to do another round of body filler. And then we'll get ready and do our patina paint. Right, y'all, I'm going to now put a little bit of primer on here. Then I'm gonna go over with my patina paint job. Now remember, I go with the brown, and then I'm going to go, after the brown, then I'm gonna go with the flat black, and then when it all dries, I'm gonna sand down. Some of the brown will come through. I could do more work on this spot here, but I'm not, because I'm done. I don't know if you've ever been that way in a project, that it turns out that seems like you take one step forward and 50 steps back. Now I could take a lot of time and get this perfect, but I had to remind myself, look at the rest of the truck. This is going to be a patinaed look. So I don't want it to look like a fix, but I do want to make it look like it's old. So the little rough edges that I'm gonna have on there is just where some of the metal had worked itself out, and the filler that I put in is always working itself low, and that edge continues to show. You'll see it when I get through, but it'll be fine because I'm gonna have a lot of brown will show there, so it'll look like a rust spot coming through. So I actually meant to do that. Yeah. All right, it may be hard to see, but I got my first layer of brown on this side. Well, of course, this side, I don't know, maybe you can see it a little bit better. You can see all the imperfections. And that's the cool thing about doing this style of paint job is, who cares? You're gonna make it imperfect. I mean, you're wanting it to look like the rest of this, or at least something like the rest of it, but there's no holes anymore. You know, there's no holes in it. So that's part of it. Who in the world would do this to a recent paint job? Yeah, that's shop tile that I've actually put into the paint. And everywhere where that shop tile is, when this dries, I'm gonna go over it and I'm gonna wet, I'm gonna put some water on it, and I'm gonna wet it and sand it down. And when I do that, all of that is gonna go straight to the brown. And it'll pull itself back out, and it'll blend more with the top of this. Now I'm just aging the paint. That's all we're doing. All right, y'all, as Puddin dries, squirted her off a little bit. I'll give you some before and after pictures right after this. I'm pretty pleased with how the paint and the holes were repaired and fixed, and the patina style paint came out. I think it looks great. You know, I said a moment ago, I think it would take a trained eye to be able to, little sneak peek here. Take a trained eye to be able to figure that one out, but I'm pleased to share that with you. I'll do that in just a minute. I want to share with you now some channel plans. Now, there's about close to 400 of you that have already subbed to the channel. If you're watching this and not subbed, it would be an extreme blessing. I would thank you so very much for subbing to the channel. Have a lot of you that are watching the videos. I think now we got a couple that have 2,000 views. I know in the YouTube world, that's nothing, but for me, I'm extremely happy with that. I think 5 that are over 1,000 out of just 10 or 11 videos. So boy, we're pleased. Nikki T and myself are honored that you would come and watch our channel. So what are the plans? I want you to know what we're going to be doing. So some pudding plans, some plans for Ole Puddin. I've said a few times in this video that I wanted to make this a channel truck. So yeah, we're gonna paint some stuff on the doors that is gonna identify this as a channel truck. So that, look out for that, that's coming. I've got seals. I haven't ordered yet, but I've got front seals and back seals. And you're driving down the road, no pudding. She whistles if it was raining, she'd be putting water in. So I'm gonna get seals for the front and the back. Many of you said, hey, if I was gonna do anything, I would. And many of you have said, hey, what about that dash? I I have funds. I could order a dash, but hey, what fun is that? I do leather work. I've got some leather. So man, wouldn't it look cool to repair that dash and to repair it and then cover it in leather? So I've got some black leather that I may cover the dash with. I think that would look sweet if the piece is long enough. What else? Oh yeah, the bed. There's holes in the bed. I'm going to repair the bed. There's holes in the floorboard. Yep, we're going to repair that. How am I going to do it? Am I going to do it bushcraft style again? No, I'd like to be able to weld it. If not, I'm going to get lay-in, drop-in pans where I can at least put those in with self-tapping and seal those in. I think that would be sufficient. I'd rather not have to do that, but I'll cut the bad out and of course go with it from there. What else are we going to do? I think the Ford in the back, we're going to have shiny Ford across. Oh yeah, I do have this hole I need to repair. I'm going to figure out a way of repairing this. I do have all of my Ford emblems. They'll be shiny on the front. So I'm thinking when I paint the doors and put our badging on the doors, I think I'm actually going around to the back side and I'm going to paint in the Ford on the trunk lid. It'll be nice. The front will be nice. I, of course, want to identify it as a Ford. I'd hate anybody thinking I was driving around in a Chevy truck. Couldn't do that. So, hey, that's the plans for the channel. But I want to also go, and the first start in many, many years, the 64 Fairlane at my dad at the family graveyard, the auto graveyard. I want to do that. He's got a few automobiles over there we may get rolling around again. I'd love to share that with you. I've got my eyes set on 2 cars that are for sale in our area, and we are trying to come up with those cars. One, it's really, really bad shape, but it's got a motor. It's pretty much complete outside of windshields. So, hey, I would like to get my hands on that. The guy said somebody's coming to pick it up, but they haven't picked it up yet. So hopefully I can get my hands on that. There's an International Harvester that a guy's got. I've tried to communicate with him on Facebook. Y'all know how sometimes that goes. So we're going to hopefully get that and have at least one of those so that we'll have something else to work on. Nikki T wants to pick out the next one, but she's not looking like I am. So maybe we can come up with something there. Ole Puddin's drying. When it gets through drying, I'm going to show you the before and after pictures. Appreciate you watching. I thank you so very much for coming back and hanging out with us. And we know no way of closing out any of these videos and say deuces. May God bless.